Does Troy Weaver think Ausar Thompson could be better than Jaden Ivey? That's my thinking because, the Pistons, I saw this on a pod, is the Pistons won 17 games. Realistically, they're not contending anytime soon. So instead of taking fit, you take the player that you think is going to be the best player in the next, 5 years from now. Who's going to be the best player? Is Ausar Thompson going to be a better player in 5 years than Cam Whitmore? If you believe he is, then you take him regardless of the fit. Because at the end of the day, the Pistons were the worst team in the NBA. They need to get talent. And if they think Ausar Thompson has that potential, I don't think you can pass that up, just for fit, for a team that, like I said, won 17 games. So if that's the way they're thinking is, listen, they drafted Killian Hayes with the 7th pick, and they corrected that mistake. They could have went into the 2021 NBA draft saying, we have a point guard. We drafted a point guard. We don't need a point guard. We're going to take a forward or a big man. But they didn't. They took the best player available with Cade Cunningham. If they do that again this year, the best player available very well might be Ausar Thompson. And at that point, maybe there's a question to be had. In 2 or 3 years from now, when the Pistons are finally ready to compete, maybe there's going to be a conversation. Jaden Ivey or Ausar Thompson, who's the better fit next to Cade Cunningham? Who's going to be the better player? And, they could very well move one of these guys. But I think at the end of the day, you need to get the best asset you can and maybe think long term, who's going to be the better asset for you. And maybe there's a world where the Detroit Pistons, when they're competing for a title, maybe it's a backcourt of Cade Cunningham and Ausar Thompson and not Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey. I think that's a realistic possibility if Ausar Thompson pans out the way, a lot of people think he can. Now, the shooting's a question mark, but I think the athleticism, the defense, the IQ, I think is all there. And he has a 7-foot wingspan. So, he's probably going to be a better defender than Ivey. Ivey's got better speed, but I mean, he could have a higher ceiling than Ivey. What are your guys' kind of thoughts on, Ivey versus Thompson and kind of their long-term outlooks? What do you think could be better for the Pistons? A Cade, Ausar Thompson backcourt or a Cade and Jaden Ivey backcourt?
For me, I mean, it sounds a little crazy for me to compare Ausar and Jaden Ivey just because honestly I haven't seen enough of Ausar Thompson, especially playing against competitive talent that we know is competitive. And so, but looking down long term, which is what you're trying to do, I think there's definitely a conversation that his fit next to Cade ends up being better because of his defense, and that would potentially match up very well with Cade's offense, and that would be a pretty nasty duo. And especially because Ivey is also an offensive-oriented player. So yes, it would be a very different lineup. And so I guess it would be more, what are you looking for, right? Are we looking for a more defensive backcourt? Or are we looking for a more offensive backcourt? And I think right now we're looking to kind of do a little bit of a running gun offense. I mean, that's kind of what Jaden Ivey runs with. It's fast offense, pace, get down the court and shoot a lot of threes. And I think that's kind of the way the NBA is moving right now in general. But yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what I got. I mean, I don't think that I can't confidently say that Ausar is going to be like, a better fit than Ivey yet, but I won't rule it out because he's supposed to be a top 10 pick for a reason. He's got talent. And I think his defense could really shine and really, really turn into an elite defender. But yeah, that's my take.
So I think it's certainly a possibility, right, that Ausar is better down the line. But again, I already brought it up once in this show. I think back to Ivey like crying, and we were talking about how important it is to have Zion here. We got this kid who really wants to be here, and I think he's going to be a monster in this offense. I think if we surround Jaden Ivey with shooters and put the right players around him, he's going to be fantastic. Well, yeah, I agree with you, John, in the sense that you're still in asset mode, not fit mode. At the same time, if I have a choice between like Ivey, Cade, and Whitmore, or Cade and Ausar, and then we're trading Ivey out and trying to bring in different assets to build around Cade and Ausar, I really like the potential grabbing Whitmore at number 5. I'll be that guy on this podcast where I'm a little bit of a cynic on that rumor that's going out there. Now, very well could be true. I don't doubt that there's truth to it, but it's just not. It's not what I would do.